Hey, Speedwinghere here, and today I'm going to be talking about the deep lore of Fire Emblem Fates. That's right. Fire Emblem Fates is often criticized for having very shallow world building. Even now, the continent doesn't have an official name. Fans just call it Fateslandia because, well, what else can you do? But I don't actually think the lore is as empty as people say. Sure, it's definitely outcompeted by many of the other games, but there's still a lot of fascinating things if you know where to look. One of the most intriguing parts of Fate's world building, to me at least, is the tribes, in particular the Flame Tribe. There are 3 tribes in Fates: the Wind Tribe, the Ice Tribe, and the Flame Tribe. Now, unlike the Wind and Ice tribes, which both get a fair amount of screen time, some maps, of multiple characters, the Flame Tribe is only represented by a single character in the entire game, Rinka. They never get a chapter, they never get a map, and yet there's more lore than you might expect. So today I'm going to explore everything we know and everything we can sort of infer about the Flame Tribe. Rinka is the daughter of the tribe's chieftain. She's sent by her father to support Hoshido in the war against Nor, and right at the start of the game, she's captured. She's furious about this, not just because she's a warrior, but because to her, being captured is a fate worse than death. It's shameful. This idea that strength and independence are core to the Flame Tribe culture comes up again and again in her supports. In her B support with Corrin, we learn that the Flame Tribe lives in isolation to protect a holy flame that they must keep burning at all times, in honor of their god. Apparently, outsiders once extinguished that fire, and in retaliation, the god of flame caused a volcanic eruption from their sacred mountain, wiping out both the invaders and many members of their tribe. So already we've got a volcano, a wrathful god, and a society shaped by both trauma and tradition. The existence of a flame god is odd. Fire Emblem games usually have deities in them, with Naga being the obvious one that comes to mind. But Fates in particular doesn't really. It has the first dragons, which are immensely powerful beings, and Ankos is one of them. 12 dragons that first appeared and fought amongst each other, and then were basically worshipped as god. Rinka's B support with Azama discusses this. She says her people worship the flame god above all other deities, suggesting a wider pantheon, but Azama suggests the flame god is probably just an ancient dragon being mistaken for a god. If he's right, that would place the Flame Tribe's flame god among the 12 original dragons who once waged war over the continent, which is an obvious parallel to the 12 Crusaders from FE4, which I've always found very funny. These dragons granted power to their champions and shaped the world, and Ankos is one of these that over time degraded into madness through degeneration. So if the flame god is one of these dragons, are they still alive? Have they degenerated? Why do they not have any impact on the story of the games? It's curious. Are they even still existent at all? Could it be that the Flame Tribe just carried down this tradition of worshipping the flame god, but he isn't present anymore? Rinka says the flame god lives among the sacred mountains. That's a big clue that the tribe likely resides next to, well, a mountain. In particular, a volcano. Now, volcanoes tend to be found in mountain ranges or islands along fault lines. Now, if we take a little look at the map of Fateslandia, it doesn't look like there's any mountains in these islands, so we could probably suggest that the Flame Tribe is somewhere along here. Flame Tribe culture is deeply isolationist, and Rinka supports really emphasize that. In her S support with Silas, she says that before they can marry, they'll need her father's blessing, and warns that he'll probably just beat Silas up just for asking, due to his outsider skepticism. Then in her S support with Takumi, he offers her a red jewel, and she's gobsmacked by this. She's never seen one of these gems outside of her tribe. As it turns out, this gem was a gift from the Flame Tribe to the Hoshidan royal family, which passed down until it ended up in Takumi's hands. The fact that he presents it in the correct ceremonial way to her leaves her speechless. This suggests that the Flame Tribe have a lot of rich cultural traditions. Perhaps these red jewels function as a dowry seen in many cultures, or maybe they're earned for a rite of passage, like having to go retrieve them from the volcano in order to prove one's worth. In her sea support with Kagero, Rinka brings up sumo wrestling, calling it a pure test of strength. She mentions it's usually restricted to men, though she's occasionally been allowed to join. From this we can infer that the tribe leans towards a patriarchal structure, male chieftain, male exclusive sports. The mention of sumo combined with Hoshido's clear inspiration for feudal Japan gives us more geographical clues, so it's likely that the Flame Tribe is located somewhere on Hoshido's side, probably near the lava fields, so we've now narrowed down that probably where the Flame Tribe is here, but this is just a guess. We also get a glimpse into their religious practices in Rinka's supports with Orochi. Before battle they perform a ritual, dripping oil onto a plate, placing paper on it, and burning it, interpreting the shapes. It's similar to real-world traditions like Goma fire rituals in Japanese Buddhism, where paper and wood are burned in sacred ceremonies to send prayers. All of this shows that religion and ritual are deeply rooted in Flame Tribe life, so much so that they've cut themselves off from the rest of the world just to protect it. The Flame Tribe might only have one character representing them, but that doesn't mean they lack depth. Through Rinka's supports and scattered lore, we get a glimpse of a proud, religious, warrior-centered society that venerates a mysterious god, possibly a first dragon, and clings to tradition after a catastrophic past. Fire Emblem Fates might not spell everything out for us immediately, but that doesn't mean there's nothing there. Sometimes the most interesting parts of a world are the ones you have to dig for. So, what do you think? Do you think that the Flame Tribe is actually an interesting example of world building within Fates? Or do you think I'm just seething and coping, and that Fates is terrible with absolutely no effort put into it at all? Let me know down below. Until next time, I'll catch you later.